everyone, my name is Jeff and I'm super excited to talk to you today about my LACIDOLL air humidifier. This just arrived and getting this thing set up was pretty darn easy. It arrived in 3 separate pieces, so there's this base right here which holds most of the water. This piece right here, which the water that comes up from the base is stored in this area, and this is what's going to be put through the humidifier. And then this top piece, which this is what sprouts out the moisture into the air. Couple safety features on this right away. They don't recommend that you place this on any uneven surfaces, anything at a slant or a carpet, for instance. Just you want it on a nice solid base, so you don't have to worry about this thing tipping over. Right now I have this on my hardwood floor, so it's going to be able to be shaken quite a bit. It's not going anywhere. So. Another nice feature, or another good idea, you want to keep it about a foot away from any walls or furniture or anything like that. So the point of a humidifier is you want to get that moisture dispersed throughout whatever room you're installing this in. So the moisture for this one is going to travel up this tube, come out through it here. For instance, I wouldn't want to have that pointed at a wall. All the moisture that comes out is just going to hit that wall and build up there. It's going to cause damage to my wall. You want to avoid that, so aim it towards the center of a room and keep it away from anything where it can just shoot right out onto and build up. And final safety feature, so this is also kind of cool. This piece comes off and this piece comes off. This is just a directional way to control where the humidity goes, but you can place that right up top and you can have this shoot directly up. I personally like this because having this will let the air or the moisture get higher into the room and again control where that moisture goes. So I'm going to have it point out towards the center of the room versus going straight up. So this lets you put it a little bit closer to a wall than you would otherwise and still have it nice dispersion throughout the room. But the hole where this is attached, this is where the moisture travels up and out of. So when you're filling this, don't put any water in there. That's where the water comes out of. There's a nice sticker right here that warns you, don't put any water in there. Just remind, I'm going to keep that sticker on there just as a constant reminder, but yeah, don't do that. The other thing, the way you do fill this, there are a bunch of slats along the circumference up here that they're just holes, and you can pour water directly into those. I'm using distilled water because the process to make distilled water, it's a lot purer. There's going to be less minerals in there, which means less stuff to build up. So no calcium, don't have to worry about that. The water is nice and pure. There's not as many germs in there. So that's my preferred water to use for humidifiers. But again, for filling it, you just pour it along the slats on the sides. This has an insanely large 16-liter capacity, which is about 5 1/4 gallons of water that you can put into this. And that's going to last quite a while. So I live up in the frozen north. When winter sets in, we get really low humidities, and I tend not to sleep very well. I have a humidifier that I've been using for a few years, and it can only hold about 1 gallon of water. I have to change that over between every 2 and 4 days, depending on what my humidity level is at and how often I use it. This I expect to last between 15 to 25 days. A lot less change over time, a lot less worry. It's just set and forget for me. So that's going to be nice. This does come with a remote, which I'll go through that, but it also does have a touch sensitive surface right here where you can control it by just pressing buttons. I'm going to turn this on now and go over all the features here. So when you turn it on, it tells you the temperature of the room and the relative humidity. Right now I'm in my living room. It looks like my humidity level is about 50% and it's about 64 degrees Fahrenheit right now. You can set this to be on a constant humidity mode, meaning you set a humidity. When you first press it, it's going to default to 40, but you can increase it. So 45, 50, 55, 60. 60 is my preferred sleeping humidity level. I find that I get better rest when it's at 60%, so that's what I'm going to have it set to. And it's just going to keep operating now until it hits that 60% humidity level. Once it hits that, it's going to turn off, and then there's going to be a constant monitor. If it drops below 60, it's going to turn back on. If it gets above 60, it's going to shut back off. Another nice feature is there is a button on here called Max and Min, which controls how fast the humidity comes out. So it's going to change the fan speed and make more humidity come out if you turn it on. So right now, its base setting is at 1. I can press this, turn it up to 2. More moisture is going to come out. Turn it up to 3. Even more moisture comes out. And finally, turbo mode. So that's going to kick out the most moisture, but I don't recommend leaving it on turbo mode for very long. So this is what I would use if I'm just putting it into a new room, or if I don't operate it all day long and I want to bring the humidity level up as quick as I can for a few minutes. I'd turn on turbo and then set it back down to 1 for maintenance mode. Excuse me. So another nice feature that I really like about this, where my existing humidifier doesn't have this, and it irks the daylights out of me, because I have a piece of tape and some cardboard that I place over the front right here, because I like it dark when I sleep. This light right here would annoy the ever-living daylights out of me, but it has a sleep mode. So after a couple seconds when you press it, just have that tiny little neck light right there to let you know it's on sleep mode. Still going to operate just fine, and everything's great. So that I can live with. That is much less invasive and much less light pollution in my room than my current one. So I like that a lot. It's also got a timer feature, so you can control how long you want it to operate before it shuts off. And finally, another favorite feature of mine, UV treatment. So as you use a humidifier over time, especially if you're using lower quality, unfiltered, unpurified water, you're going to have a buildup of germs in there. So it's important to clean it often. They do send you a cleaning brush when you get this, and cleaning it is quite simple. You just lift this up. You have a nice open base. There's not a lot of nooks and crannies, so you can just scrape it and clean it. But over time, as I said, if you don't clean it, and especially if you're using lower quality water, you're gonna get germs, and those germs are then just gonna travel up, get out in the room, and hopefully not make you all sick. But yeah, this has a nice UV feature on it. So as the water is being humidified, it's going to treat it with a UV light, kill any bacteria that comes out, and you don't have to worry about that. It's just going to be nice pure water that comes out into the room then. So that's wonderful. I really appreciate that feature. That about covers what this is capable of. So I'm going to go set this up in my bedroom and see how fast I can bring the humidity up to 60% in there. So I have had this in my bedroom and turned on for about 20 minutes now, and the humidity level has risen from about 48 to 55% relative humidity. So that is wonderful. It's going to go up about 5% more, and then I am going to be ready for bed. I am greatly looking forward to sleeping tonight with this on, so hopefully I'll have a nice restful sleep, and this will be wonderful. Thank you, LACIDOLL.